Rising Productions, and this is Diva Talk. I'm Mia.
I'm Karen.
And I'm Reverie. Happy February, everyone.
Happy February, Cupid.
Yeah, February is known as the month of love. And so this is
the month of love.
It is. So this is the start of our love episode.
All you need is love, like the Beatles said. Hopefully everyone has checked out our New Year's Eve special where we covered some ground with some thought-provoking questions. And we had a 4-part special. This will be the same. Well, I'd like to start the conversation about love because this came up a couple of weeks ago between Mia and I through Facebook. We were having a conversation about where does love begin for you? Is that something that starts in your heart or in your head? And what is the distinction?
Well, to me, when you first, initiated doing these questions and I read that, I thought, love actually, because our body is all interconnected, I think it has to do with both the head and the heart, but also the loins. And they're kind of, in a way, they're 3 different types of love. I mean, obviously, the loins part of the love is very sexual, but when it comes to the heart, that's when you really and truly love someone. But the head gets involved and then you start to overthink it. Is this a good person for me to fall in love with? Is this such a good idea? But then I think the heart ends up overruling it. But I think the true thing in it is whether or not the loins comes into play and you just feel that chemistry with that person. And that's when you know you really love someone, when the head and the heart and your body embrace that love of the person, if that makes any sense. That's initially, what's that?
I just was laughing because when you said loins, it was just like, am I making you horny?
Are you Randy, baby?
Like it just made me think of Austin Powers.
Oh my God. So that's what it means to me.
So you think it's like a whole body experience then?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily start in any one place, but it's kind of a combination of things.
Yeah, I think it is a combination of things. And I think a perfect example here too, though, is that, you're asking about the distinction. And I love this story, but Marilyn Monroe said that the sexiest man alive was Albert Einstein. And when I heard that, I was a teenager and I thought, that's ridiculous. But then I realized, no, she's talking about his intellect. His intellect was sexy. So she's talking about, the head, the mind, like she loved him because of his mind, because of his brilliance. I mean, obviously, he was not an attractive man. And I don't think she loved him through the heart, but she loved him for his mind, for his brilliance. And that's why he was the sexiest man. So that's why there is a distinction. It's different. You can love someone intellectually, and that's where the head comes into play. But then you can also love someone through the heart. And that's when, like your parents, you love your parents, or you love your significant other, your wife or your husband, and that deals with the heart.
Well, I think your family and your friends can also be the heart too. I mean, I think there's a whole human experience to love that you touched on, that it kind of being a whole body experience. And this morning when I was hiking, I was listening to Ram Dass. Do you guys know who he is?
No.
A spiritual philosopher. And he had these recordings of, these instrumental, kind of South Indian music. And then he has this kind of conversation over it. And there are several topics about love because I was trying to prepare for tonight's conversation. And one of the things he talked about is that, we love through the soul. And it's kind of what you were just touching on, Reverie. It's like, it's neither the heart or the head, or to me, maybe the soul is the heart, but it is kind of a soulful experience. Like it's kind of this unknowing feeling. You're not entirely sure where it comes from, but you know that there's a feeling there and it's strong, that the language that goes with it is love. You know, so there's this kind of beautiful experience that you could have, whether it's with somebody romantically or through a family experience or through a friendship. There is definitely a feeling like, and there's sometimes there, you know, the language is not necessarily through words. Sometimes it's just through actions, you know, the things that you do for somebody, or the things that you, how you are with that person. But of course it's accompanied by the language, which then I think that's when it becomes a little bit more identifiable that, you know, Valentine's Day, you know, everybody has their hearts out and they send their little, I still give my husband like little Valentines, you know, those little cards, you know, that say like, you know, something cheesy, like with a dog on it, like, you know, woof, I woof you or something. You know, it's so, because there has to be language, I feel like, to express, even though he knows I love him, but there's sometimes language is helpful. So I don't know, that distinction of like heart and head, I feel like there's also the soul. And that's kind of going back to what you were saying. It's this kind of whole body experience. But I do agree with you as well, that there is an intellectual love too. Like, I feel like, you know, for humanity, like there's an intellectual, I don't know the whole world. I have a hard time with the world, but, you know, I'm working on loving the world. And I think that's an intellectual love that I work at every day in a spiritual way. So there's that, you know, I don't know all of these people, and, you know, that live on this planet, but yet I will work on love towards them. So I think there is an intellectual aspect of it as well that is accurate.
What about you, Mia?
I have all kinds of feelings on this subject. Does it start in the heart or in the head? Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Exactly.
It's a tough question to answer. I think love is a choice for the most part.
Yeah.
I think your soul can feel a connection with somebody. And I'm sorry, Rev, I disagree. Love is not in the loins. We can dig into that later with the sex question. Not, and I'll explain that later. So watch the whole episode if you want to know. Or if you disagree and you think love does live in the loins, put a comment below and argue with me, because I assure you I can prove you wrong. It does not. However, it does live in the head and it does live in the heart, which the heart I reckon with the soul. The heart is your soul. So you can feel a connection with somebody and you can feel drawn to somebody. And, you know, I look at this in the dating aspect. I can feel that connection and that excitement and that spark, but then I have to choose, am I going to allow myself to love this person? So that's in the head. So you have the piece that's in the heart, where it's the initial connection, the soul connection with somebody, but then you have the piece that's in the head as well, where you have to make a conscious choice. Am I going to love this person? Because you can also choose to hate someone. If you think about, you know, all of your exes, when you split up with them, you had a choice. You could continue to love them and let them go with love, or you could say, no, I hate you. I don't like you anymore, and shut the love off. It's a choice. Love, the aspect of love that is unconditional is a choice. The aspect of love that is conditional is not necessarily a choice. That's where you get those feelings and those flutters and that soul connection with somebody. That's not really a choice. That's not, I hesitate to even call that love, because what it really is it's a chemical reaction.
Chemistry is what I
in
was
your
going to
body.
say.
So it's hormones. It's all hormones. You know, when you initially meet someone, you've got estrogen and testosterone flowing. And that's what gives you that initial spark, that initial, oh, I'm attracted to this person. And then you get dopamine and oxytocin and vasopressin involved, other hormones that get involved that bond you even more. Those are all chemical reactions. And society as a whole views that as love. That's not love. What love actually is looking at somebody and saying, you're driving me batshit crazy right now, and I would love nothing more than to shove a rusty fork straight in your eye, but I'm not going to because I love you. That's what love is. And it's a choice. It's a conscious choice. You have to say, I'm not going to stab you in the eye with a rusty fork. You have to say that. I mean, come on. We've all had that person in our life where we just look at them in that moment and just think, oh my God, if I had a rusty fork in my hand right now, it would be in your fucking eye. We all have those moments, but it's
so
a
instead
choice.
of Cupid drawing back a bow, it should be a rusty fork. Cut to Cupid drawing back rusty fork.
Yeah, insert rusty fork into the eye.
So to answer the question, it lives in the heart and the head simultaneously.
Yeah.
I don't think one comes before the other. I think you can meet somebody and not feel an instant chemistry with them, and then make a choice to get to know them and give them a chance anyway. You're making a choice to love.
But there's definitely that sexual chemistry. That's where I was saying
I've
loins.
dated people where I did not have a sexual chemistry with them in the beginning. And as my feelings grew, then the sexual chemistry came. And again, that's just a hormone. But I think
it's interesting because I don't want to speak disparagingly of my beautiful marriage, but when I first met my husband, I thought he was irritating and annoying. And
I think that is so funny that you say that, Karen, because you guys have such a great relationship.
We do. We have a great relationship. And he, I don't know, chemical or not, had a, what he called, I fell in love with you the moment I met you experience. And, I was like total polar opposite. But over time, because we were friends for a while, we didn't date right away. And then, when we started dating, it was a very gradual thing for me. And it was beautiful how it unfolded. So I do agree that, it's not always kind of this experience that Hallmark makes it out to be like, I saw them across the room and I saw stars, like it's not always like that. But, he's the love of my life. Like I can't even imagine. See,
I don't think that Hallmark moment, I don't think that that's love at all. And I think when Dana says he fell in love with you the moment he saw you, I think his groin was reacting to your tatas and all the rest of you. That's fantastic. But the point is, I don't think that he was really experiencing love, because real love is built over time. It's not something that just happens instantly.
Well, I don't know. He's our biggest fan on Diva Talk. So let him drop a comment below and tell us, was it really love, Dana?
Yeah, Dana, was it really love or was it just sex?
Was it this head or was it this head?
Was it brain number 1 or brain number 2?
Comment below. There's like so much double standard to that, like your double meaning to that. Comment below.
Ooh, put it below. It's going down under.
What's commenting below? My loins. If you're longer commenting, please comment on them.
I have so much fun with the sex conversation.
We haven't even gotten to that one yet, and that one's
gonna go sideways.
I know. Let's just jump to episode 4 now.
That's why I saved it for last.
Well, I think we've answered this question. Yes,
I think so. And I think I'd love to hear from our viewers on what love is for them. Does it start in the heart, in the head, in the soul, or in the loins? Or is any of that not true? And what do you think? Put in the comments below what your thoughts are.
It does start in the loins. I will fight you.
And if you do disagree with Mia, she will find you and get a rusty fork.
Rusty fork is coming your way.
Oh, good. I can wink again. So I'm dressed as a poet. I thought I would close this part of our question. A love poem from Rumi. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for our next episode.
It's gonna get saucy.
So first off, I'd like to just say my question was inspired by two friends of mine. One friend of mine is Russian. And when he came to America, he was saying, I just don't understand all these Americans, they always say, oh, I love you. You go to work and your boss hugs you and says, oh, I love you. And, your friends say, I love you. And they want to kiss you on the cheek. Goodbye. And, everyone just loves everyone. And, that's just bullshit. I don't believe in that. So my question is, who do you say I love you to? And what is the significance? And do you say it to your friends? Do you say it to your family? And what does I love you mean to you?
Well, I'm an I love you whore. I fully 100% believe in saying I love you. I say it accidentally to coworkers. Have a good weekend. Love you. Don't do it on purpose, but I do.
Yeah.
It just comes out. But I will say I'm very hesitant when I'm in a beginning of a relationship with somebody. I won't just throw it out there in the beginning because I'm in that. I want to make sure. Do I really want to love you? I don't know yet. And I'm not going to say it until I'm 100% sure.
Obviously, I say it to my husband, even when we sign off on phone calls, and we'll say it very freely. It's not like, I love you. Like you have to sing a Whitney Houston song with it,
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. No.
Go.